So we have someone following up on the other members, but we do have quorum to start if anything.
Okay, should we start? Oh, yeah, I guess let's start. So I'll call the meeting to order at 9:01. The first item on our agenda is the approval of our regular meeting minutes on April 14th.
So moved. Hi, this is Don. So moved.
Is it May 14th or April?
May 14th.
A second.
Anybody have any comments? Were you guys able to get that from the link?
Yep.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. For item 2B, we're going to defer that when we are in executive session. So let's see, for item 3A, to approve a resolution number 142 expressing appreciation to Leilani Pomano.
Motion.
Oh, I was going to read that, but I guess I'll move. I just thought.
Hi, Don.
We're not allowing you to leave.
Yeah.
I think Esther's going to want a second on that.
Second.
Thank you, Mel. So I think, Don, you're up, unless you want me to read it.
No, definitely. So this board action, you're right, Mel. This is coming at a sad time for us. But so the facts, I'll just read it how it's laid out. Leilani Pomano was appointed to the board of directors of the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation (HHFDC) in July 2012, representing the county of Maui. Director Pomano serves as the chair of the HHFDC board and previously served as its secretary from July 2013 through July 2014. Pursuant to Section 201H3 Hawaii Revised Statutes, at least 4 of the public members on the HHFDC board must have knowledge and experience in the public or private financing and development of affordable housing. As a professional planner, Chair Pomano has drawn on her extensive knowledge and hands-on experience with project entitlements and development to assist HHFDC. Chair Pomano has been a well-prepared and engaged board member whose thoughtful comments and questions have contributed to the overall understanding of issues before the board. Her participation on numerous board subcommittees have provided staff with guidance and policy direction in various areas, including the HHFDC strategic plan, qualified allocation plan, and housing finance programs. A firm believer in community engagement, Chair Pomano has made a point to ask for the opinions of those who may be affected by the HHFDC decisions. Those with a stake in decision-making included families, developers, landowners, advocates, and staff. Her leadership, wealth of knowledge, and upbeat disposition will be missed. So as a recommendation that the HHFDC Board of Directors approves resolution number 142, which expresses appreciation to Chair Leilani Pomano.
Thank you, Don. All right. Okay. Well, I guess I'll start off by just saying I really appreciate all these years being on the board. It's been a huge learning experience. Been very humbled to be a part of this board and learning so much from the staff, and I really appreciate all of the hard work that the staff does for the agency. and their commitment to really providing wonderful housing for our community. Thank you very much for all these years.
Thank you, Leilani. I just wanted to say thank you, from the bottom of our hearts here at HHFDC. Thank you so much for your leadership and for pushing us forward and always engaging the constituency that we serve. It's really through your leadership that we were able to achieve so much during your term here. So you will be sorely missed, not easily replaced at all. Thank you so much. And I know the staff echoes that sentiment. So mahalo.
Thank you. All right, all in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Right?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So moving on to item 3B, to approve resolution number 143, expressing appreciation to Peter Nelson.
So moved. Hi, this is Don.
Second. Now.
Is Peter there or on?
Peter's here.
Oh, fantastic. How about a video? Peter, are you around on a video?
He's coming up. He's coming up.
Okay. There you go.
So here's Peter Nelson.
Good morning, Peter.
Morning.
So Peter Nelson joined Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation on August 8th, 2007, in what is now called the Real Estate Portfolio and Compliance section of the Planning, Evaluation, and Compliance branch. His responsibilities have included administering property management contracts, reviewing and approving vendor payments, and addressing building maintenance problems for properties owned by HHFDC. Peter is drawn on his experience in maintaining and managing luxury condominiums and over 20 years as a naval marine engineer to assist HHFDC to manage its real estate portfolio. He delayed a well-deserved retirement to continue to provide property management services while HHFDC completed the restructuring of its rental housing portfolio. His management skills and team spirit are much appreciated. So the recommendation is that the board approves resolution number 143, which expresses appreciation to Peter W. Nelson. Can you have the resolution there, Essa?
No.
Well, let me take the time to read the resolution, Peter.
It's part of the exhibit
Okay.
attached to the.
All right. Let me read out the resolution expressing appreciation. So whereas Peter W. Nelson has served the real estate portfolio and compliance section of the Planning, Evaluation, and Compliance branch of Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation since August 8th, 2007. And whereas his experience in residential property management, Mr. Nelson has helped to maintain HHFDC's rental housing portfolio, which was comprised of 8 properties totaling 1,325 units on Hawaii Island, Maui, and Oahu. And whereas he's worked closely with property managers to ensure residents of HHFDC rental properties were provided with safe, decent, and affordable homes. And whereas the board and the staff of HHFDC would like to thank Mr. Nelson for his dedication and commitment to managing and maintaining rental housing properties owned by the corporation. And whereas the board and staff of HHFDC would like to extend to Mr. Nelson warm wishes for a happy retirement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation adopt resolution number 143, expressing appreciation to Peter W. Nelson on this 18th day of June 20th, and be it further resolved that this resolution be transmitted to Mr. Nelson. Congratulations, Mr. Nelson,
Thank you,
on your retirement.
if that's what they call it.
Yeah, we just want to echo that, and thank you so much for your years of dedication, Peter. We really appreciate all that you've done for HHFDC. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Nelson, would you like to say a few words?
I was going to, but you know, retirement's not what it's made out to be. Because when my father retired, the first thing he went to a doctor's visit, and the doctor told him, go back to work because this is killing you. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stay out there in the field. But I appreciate everything.
Wonderful. Well, enjoy version 2 of Mr. Peter Nelson. All right, all in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Well, thank you, Peter, for all your service.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
So on to item 3C, discussion and possible action on the restructuring and preservation of the Kamike Vista mixed-use affordable housing project located in Kewalo, Oahu, TMK number 123-003-018.
Hi, this is Don. So moved.
I second.
Morning, Chair, members of the board. By my count, this is the 33rd time that that the board has either heard information, had discussion, or taken action on a matter relating to the rental housing system restructuring and preservation. So I'm going to try to keep the background brief, but I do want to cover a few points. As I think everyone knows by now, in 2017, we published an RFP relating to the restructuring and preservation of the rental housing system portfolio comprised of 6 properties. We retained a consultant, CBRE, which assisted us with the marketing of the portfolio. The transaction was designed as a real property transaction and therefore not subject to the Hawaii Public Procurement Code 103D. HHFDC set forth the following priorities relating to the restructuring and preservation. One was to redeem the outstanding revenue bonds. The second was to minimize residential tenant displacement. The third was to preserve long-term affordability. And the fourth was to correct deferred maintenance and preserve the buildings for the long term. As I mentioned, it was a 6-property portfolio. One of the properties is Kamike Vista in Kakako. Kamike Vista was completed in 1992. It was basically a joint venture between HFDC and HCDA. It has 3 components. One is a residential condominium with 226 units. The second is a commercial condominium with about 30,000 square feet of usable square footage. The third is a daycare condominium, which is home to the KCAA Muriel Preschool. At the time that we published the RFP, HHFDC did not own the land underneath Kamike Vista. We did for the 5 other properties. The Kamike Vista land was subject to a ground lease with Atherton Family Foundation. The ground lease expired in 2053, or was set to expire in 2053. And so when we went to market, we marketed the 5 other properties with a new 75-year ground lease from the corporation. And for Kamike Vista, you know, we marketed what we had to sell at the time. It was an existing ground lease with Atherton. we had discussions prior to the RFP publication with them regarding lease extension, purchase of the fee. We weren't really getting anywhere. And so that was what was put to market. A ground lease with about 39 years remaining at the time. We received 19 proposals in response to the RFP. Those proposals were scored according to the criteria that are outlined on the bottom of page 6 of the 4 discussion. In December 2017, the board approved the RFP award to joint offers Standard Property Company and Stanford Car Development. They subsequently formed an entity called Komohale LP to actually undertake the acquisition. In June 2018, we entered into a purchase and sale agreement with Komohale. In December 2018, the board approved various modifications to the RFP award. Those were primarily due to Komohale's due diligence findings, the largest of which was that the buildings needed more capital than the buyer originally anticipated. That resulted in a $40 million price adjustment to compensate them for that increased capital investment. In May 2019, Atherton communicated to HHFDC that they would not go forward with some ground lease modifications that had been requested by Komohale. You know, these really related mostly to lender assurances. We needed Atherton's consent for the sale, and frankly, they weren't going to give it. So we decided to move forward with the sale of the 5 other properties, and sorry, a little echo there. We closed on the sale of 5 properties, and the closing of Kamike Vista was delayed. We were having ongoing discussions with Atherton at the time, primarily due to the requested modifications to the ground leases that Komohale had requested. We were also talking with them about a possible purchase of their leased fee interest by HHFDC. We were able to actually negotiate a purchase of the Kamike Vista land. HHFDC closed on that acquisition in December 2019. So that's the background. Going to this discussion portion of the 4 discussion. So because we were able to buy the lease fee interest, that enabled us to accommodate the modifications that had been requested by our buyer. However, and I think I misstated it at the last board meeting. Komohale has been willing through this process to proceed with the original transaction.
Okay. I think I can.
Which means acquiring basically a 38-year leasehold interest. However, they've always had a strong preference to do a 75-year deal to match the other 5 properties. So staff was willing to talk with Komohale about this, and subject to board approval, extend the lease to 75 years in return for an increased purchase price. We went out and got an appraisal. The buyer didn't agree with the appraisal report findings. Buyer went out and got their own appraisal, which we received a month plus ago. And so happened that I returned to the corporation around that time, and ask that the buyer, we find a way to move forward. Either we proceed with the original transaction, or given that we're so far apart on the appraisal reports, propose something to us. We did get something in writing May 12th of this year. It outlined various requested modifications to the deal. They didn't specify a purchase price at the time. Really, that's because they were working with their lender, and since we originally closed on the portfolio, frankly, the world has changed since then, and lender underwriting standards have changed. And so at last month's board meeting, and I gave an update on where we were, but we didn't have an offer in hand with a number that we could talk about. Again, 3G summarizes the value conclusions of both reports. You can see they're pretty far apart. Frankly, I don't think it will be helpful to get into detailed discussion about why that's the case, and the assumptions behind each valuation. Because frankly, the effective dates are pre-pandemic, and I just don't think they're of much value anymore. They just don't reflect current market conditions. 3H, I refer to Exhibit C4. That's the letter that we received on May 12th. Again, at the time, the buyer wasn't able to give us an indication of a revised purchase price, but I'm happy to report that we've been having ongoing discussions and regular discussions with the buyer over the past month, particularly in the past 2 to 3 weeks. And yesterday we did receive in writing an amendment to buyer's May 12th letter, which has more detail on what they're proposing or how they're proposing to modify the Kamike Vista transaction. With that, Chair, may I suggest that the board consider convening an executive session to discuss matters relating to Komahale's offer.
Okay, can I please get a motion to go into executive session?
Now I make a motion.
Mike, second.
Okay, all in favor of going into executive session?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Essa, if you can take us out into a breakout room, and I'm assuming that we would like Stanford as part of that executive session.
Okay, hold on.
Chair, may I suggest that we have a discussion initially without buyer representatives participating, and that we invite them in after that initial portion?
Okay, Stanford, if you just would like to hold on until we can get a little bit, get some information from Chris. Great.
Sure, absolutely.
This is Jeff Jaeger from Standard. I'd love to be able to participate as well.
Okay, Jeff, if you just wouldn't mind holding on until we get some information.
No problem.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Essa. If you can take us into a breakout room, that'd be fantastic.
Just a second.
Hey, John. You can text me Kyne's phone number, Mark's, at HHFDC. I try to get it on a conference meeting. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Lost the connection. So.
Okay. Is everyone back? Back from executive session? Stanford, Jeff, are you there?
I'm here.
Great. I see Stanford and I don't see Jeff, but I think,
There
oh,
you
there you go. There, fantastic. Okay, so just as a summary, during our executive session, the board discussed the various matters with staff, legal counsel, and consultants at CBRE, and our discussion focused on the RFP process, which was designed to ensure transparency and fairness, the RFP goals, and the need for critical near-term capital improvements at Kamike Vista. We went through the historic timeline and the current status of the purchase and sale agreement and the Kamike Vista closing. We also reviewed a draft of CBRE's broker's opinion of value, and staff provided a set of possible next steps and how we can proceed with the Kamike Vista transaction. We also reviewed and got a briefing on the Komohala's revised purchase and sale agreement modification requests. And so with all of that information, the board and the staff believes that we're living in some unprecedented times. And based on the feedback that we received from staff, we believe that a deviation from the RFP is warranted. And we want to make sure that our initial goals for the RFP are realized. And so we've directed staff, or we are going to direct staff, or we are directing staff to continue to negotiate with Komohale on the modified transaction terms that you have presented to us. And we're hoping that these modified terms can result in a signed purchase and sale agreement at a July 9th meeting with closing in September.
Yes.
Great. I'm not
Thank
going
you.
to be there, but I really would appreciate you guys being close to that.
Yes.
Love to read an article on July 9th that says it's done and the closing is happening in September.
So do we. Thank you. And Leilani, I want to thank you for all your service at HHFDC. It's been a pleasure working with you for all these years, and I'm sure our paths will cross on Maui in the future.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
But thank you for your service.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see, what else is on our agenda? So we have the executive director report.
Aloha, everyone.
Hi, Denise.
Report. I just wanted to echo some of those sentiments again that Stanford had said. It really has been a pleasure, Leilani. We really are going to miss you. We're really sad. But when you do come to town, we do want to take you out to lunch. So please don't forget.
I won't. I'd love to see you guys in person for sure. I'm sad that my last meeting is not an in-person meeting.
Yeah, so hopefully soon, because inter-island travel mandate has quarantine has been lifted.
Yes.
As far as the executive report is concerned, I know that it's in your packet. I'm here to answer any questions. I have been heavily involved with economic recovery while trying to do housing. The housing initiative as a stimulus for economic recovery has been one sector that Alan Oshima and I have convened a group. Kevin Carney is the lead for that area, and he's been putting out some information to the constituency, to that group, asking specifically about rent collections. So he'll be funneling that to UH. Dr. Philip Garboden of the University of Hawaii, he is their affordable housing expert and has appeared. I think Senator Chang hosted a webinar the other day. He's also been a presenter at the TOD Council, has a lot of background and is now trying to get a handle of the COVID impacts. I just wanted to echo some of the things that Chris had touched upon, but UHERO has done a study of the economic impacts on Hawaii. And, you know, I know CBRE did a presentation, but for Hawaii in particular, UHERO is reporting that Hawaii, because of its heavy reliance on tourism, will lag behind the nation in terms of recovery. They give both a pessimistic and an optimistic view of their recovery. You know, I think best case is maybe 2 years, but there is some outlook for 5 years. And the recovery will not be as rapid or complete, and this pandemic will have much more serious effects on us than the Great Depression in 2008. So other than that, session will reconvene on June 22nd. It doesn't look like there will be much. I think they will be looking at just a few actions, mainly aimed at the impacts of COVID-19. Our omnibus housing bill, you know, we just don't know. Everything has changed. The priorities have changed since COVID-19. HHFDC, I think, will continue to play a very vital role. We're doing everything we can to protect the projects in the pipeline, although there is interest outside for us to be doing certain things with our funds. We have a list of projects, one in particular, several in particular. We want to get North Kona started, where we have some serious issues with the holdup on water development or well development. And I am going to try and talk to the mayor's office on Hawaii Island at the end of this week. We want to circle back to DHHL and get their support, find out what their interest is, if we can go in together to Hawaii County to ask for their support and understand what the National Park Service issue is with the holdup. We've also met with the Commission on Water Resources the other day to try and understand what the process is and what the issues may be. But other than that, I'm here to answer any questions you may have on the Executive Director reports.
Does anyone have any questions? No, I think we have to do two housekeeping things though. There is some subcommittees, and as you can see, Sarah's not on line right now. She had her baby. Congratulations, Sarah. And so she's taking some well-needed time to be with her family right now. And with me leaving HHFDC, there needs to be a little bit of restructuring on our subcommittees that we have. And I'll just go through that before we adjourn. So we have the Leasehold Policy Subcommittee. And that subcommittee, that purpose was to review the current leasehold policies for our residential leases and recommend some possible modifications. And so one of the outcome that we wanted for that subcommittee to recommend a new policy regarding the terms and condition of residential lease term extensions. And the current members are George, Sarah, Dawn, and Mary Alice. So what I'd like to recommend is that we disband this subcommittee and reconstitute it with Dawn, George, the DBED designee, Chung Chang, who I don't believe is on. I saw that he was on earlier. And the governor's representative, who's going to be replacing Sarah on the board. I'm sorry.
You need a motion?
I don't think we need a motion. I just,
Okay.
I think we just have to read this into the record. Is that correct,
No.
Sandy?
Correct.
Okay. I'd like to know if there's any opposition to that, though. Does any of the board have any issues with that? Okay. And then the second subcommittee is the Housing Finance Program Subcommittee, and that purpose was to review and assess the efficiency of the financing programs as well as our QAP. And a couple of our goals was to ensure quicker production, more units, and longer affordability. And the current members of that subcommittee is myself, Sarah, Dawn, and Gary. So I'm going to be recommending disbanding that subcommittee and reconstituting it with Dawn, Gary, Carol Ryman, who is going to be the new Maui representative, and her term starts in July 1st. See, when you're not there, you get some jobs. And she was confirmed by the Senate, and so her term will start, as I said, July 1st. And then the fourth member will be the governor's representative, that same person that's going to be replacing Sarah in the interim. And so the purpose of the subcommittee will be the same, with the focus on the QAP. I just like to let you all know that the new QAP needs to be actually approved. So you may be a little pressed for time for doing this. We got set back because of COVID. So hopefully we could come up, or the new subcommittee can come up with some recommendations on the QAP. Okay, anybody have any objections to that subcommittee members?
Nope.
Okay, so that was the last of the housekeeping. Before we adjourn, is there anything else? Any questions or comments or? No. All right.
Well, before we leave, I just want to say thank you, and we're gonna miss you.
Oh, I'm gonna miss you guys too. It's been 8 quick years.
Well, Lee, be safe out there.
You too, Mel. Thank you very much. All right, may I please have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, fantastic. All right, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.